everyone, welcome to this week's edition of Show Me How It's Done. My name is Lauren Urbonis and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Edmonton, Alberta. I am very sorry that I missed last week's episode with you guys. I had absolutely no voice, and hopefully my cough cooperates during this video, but I have a full thermos of tea and so we should be good to go. But it's kind of hard to do an instructional video when you can't talk, but that's okay. We all have those days, and so I'm excited to be with you this week. I have a really fun project to show you. It is a fun fold card, and it was one that I actually featured at my masculine card making class this month. So at that class we made 5 different projects. We used this Legendary Ride bundle. We used, let me see if I have them handy here. Maybe. Yes, I did. We have the On the Ocean, so we did a nice pirate ship card. And then we used a bunch of this paper from the Enjoy the Journey series and made 3 different cards for that. So we had a lot of fun, and I decided I wanted to share one of the projects with you guys. So let me show you how to complete this card. If you're watching live, go ahead and say hello, and if you're watching the replay, then you can also pop a comment in and I will get that. And if you have any questions, just let me know. I did put all the measurements that I'm going to give you in the description on the video, so don't feel like you have to quickly be writing them down. They are listed there for you, so if you're watching the replay, it'll be quick and easy. You can access those, and you can have all of this stuff cut ahead of time. All right, so this does require a lot of different pieces, but don't worry, it's not very scary. So the first thing that we're going to need is a piece of basic black cardstock. So let me give you the measurements for that piece. This one is going to be 5.5 by 7 3/4. Okay, so 5.5 by 7 3/4. And then we're going to be doing a few score marks on here. So let me just get my little sticky note. You guys get all the nice typed up things, but I have a cheat sheet. Here we go. So 1/4, 1 1/4, 2.5, 3.5. I'll give you those one more time because I know they can be tricky. 1/4, 1 1/4, 2.5, 3.5. So I had this one folded ahead of time because I needed to fit it in an envelope, but I'm going to go ahead and fold them all in. So I've started by folding it kind of in on that halfway mark, or not quite the halfway. And then I'm folding all the rest of these lines inwards as well. So we're making this box part right now, okay? The nice thing about folding is if you accidentally fold it the wrong way, it's easy to just fold the other way in the end. But what you should have is all your pieces folded inwards so that you have this really nice box feature. Okay. Now to attach this part together, we will use some glue, but before you do that, we're going to put a little designer series paper in the background here. So for the sample that I did on the left, I used the motorcycle sheet, and this is a really beautiful package of paper. I should mention the Legendary Ride stamp set and the coordinating dies, they are carrying over to the next catalog. However, our paper usually always retires. So this is the Ready to Ride Designer Series paper. You can see I kind of only have some scraps left of my pages, but this is not carrying over. If you're in Canada with me, it is on sale for $16 and some cents, regular $21. and it was current as of 5 minutes before this video. I popped on and checked, so you can still get it. So on the left, I decided to use the motorcycles. On the right, I also really loved this kind of like old diner desert scene, so I wanted to use this. So my piece of designer series paper is going to measure 4 inches by 5 1/4, and I'm going to glue this right in the middle of that large black rectangle there. So you can use tape, you can use seal, you can use glue, whatever works for you. I'm going to attach that now before closing up our little box. Now, I didn't put anything inside my little box, but you can fit a Rolo chocolate bar in there. It fits quite nicely. Or I'm sure you can probably find like pepperoni sticks or something else that would fit in there too. So I just wanted a masculine card you can give to somebody, but I didn't fill it with anything per se. All right, so we've got this guy. Now, I'm going to show you the little trick, and that's going to be to put adhesive just on this tiny little lip here. I will do that, but I want to show you that when I have that adhesive done, if you fold this over so there's only 2 panels showing, and lay this down flat, it will pop open perfectly square for you. Okay, so technically you have 3 panels. I want you to fold one back so there's only 2 panels showing in front of you. And this little thin strip, we're going to put dots of glue on that and then tuck him under. And this card and box will be perfectly squared up for you. You don't have to worry about it. We are using glue, so you'll want to set this aside with something heavy. Okay, so I've folded this under. Just going to kind of press downward for the moment. Now, if you've got maybe a couple blocks, this would be a good thing to use for the moment. And we're going to work on our outer panel before coming back and working on this a little bit more, because we want that glue to have lots of time to set. Okay, we do need to cut a couple more pieces of designer paper, which would maybe be a good idea to do now. These are going to be the pieces we decorate that popped out box with. And they're going to be a different pattern, whatever pattern you want, something different than what you chose for the first one. Okay, so designer series paper number 2. We're going to need one that is 3/4 of an inch by 5 1/4 and 1 inch by 5 1/4. So they're the same length, the 5 1/4. We've got a 3/4 inch and a 1 inch. Those will be used to decorate our box. You can just put them to the side for a second. And then we also can do some cutting for the back of our card. Because there's not really a lot of room to write on this, we want something on the back that you can lie your card flat and write a nice note, and somebody has a nice memento. So this piece is 4 by 5 1/4, and you might as well use a little bit of your time at the moment to stamp on there. So I chose the smallest of the motorcycles, and I'm using my Memento Black Ink. Tapping that. So this should be pretty dry now, but we wanted to give it those few minutes. So give it a couple more while you go ahead and add things like the tape or adhesive to the 3 pieces we just cut. So I've got my white piece ready to go. I'm going to turn my designer paper over. You could certainly use this side of it too if you wanted. And this is the pumpkin pie, if anyone's interested. So you could have stamped your motorcycle using that color as well. There we go. So I'm all ready. I've got my adhesives. Now I can bring my card back down. It should be pretty dry. Should be nice and happy, okay? So You can imagine with me, it just pops up like that. Okay, so go ahead and lie that back down because those two sections that I'm showing you, I haven't taken my adhesive off yet, those are going to be for our designer paper. So this is the smaller piece, the 3/4 of an inch. This is the larger piece, that 1 inch. They're gonna go onto these strips. So whenever you're ready and comfortable, you can go ahead, take off your adhesive, attach them. There should be a nice little border of black around top and bottom and the sides. You like the little gloss on this paper? Some of the paper has the gloss, so 1/2 of the sheets, it's got that UV coating on it. It just is so fun. Who's texting me? No. To get back to that one yet. Okay, so we've got our designer paper. Go ahead and flip this over and let's add this white page. Make sure you're facing this the right way. So the large section is up here at the top and you've probably got this little rectangle showing still at the back. Make sure that your motorcycle's facing the bottom there, so we don't want this upside down. And of course you can write your message now if you want to, or you can always come back and do that later. So here's the first part of our card. Got just this little box like this, okay? But how do we make this second pop-up feature? So that's going to be a whole second little set of pieces that we have to cut. So I'm moving this aside out of my way, and let's get you working on these pieces. So it's going to be very similar in the idea. We're kind of doing a couple cuts, a couple folds, and we'll pop them together at the end. So the black piece that you're going to need to cut is 4 inches by 4 1/4. Okay? So 4 inches by 4 1/4. Now on the short side, so this is the 4-inch side, we're lining that up to the top of our scoreboard and we're scoring at 1/4 and 1 1/4. And then you can go ahead and fold on those two lines, both inwards. So if you can imagine, this little part here is going right at the top here, okay? So before we attach it, let's just lay this out in front of us. We've got our nice folds. Let's add our designer paper. So I used, again, a different design than the other two, but these two are the same pattern, okay? So whichever piece you like. So the larger piece here is going to be 2.5 by 4. The smaller piece is 3/4 of an inch by 4. And they should fit. Haven't attached adhesive yet, but they should fit right in those two spaces, okay? So attach them with whatever sort of flat adhesive, like. Should have a nice black border all the way around. Now on this top part, we will of course be doing that same glue technique, but on the bottom part, I'm going to get you to flip this over so that you still have your skinny pieces on the top and this nice fat piece kind of closest to you. I'd like you to put a adhesive like double-sided tape or seal along the bottom of that piece. That is the piece that we're going to attach to this base right here, okay? So we'll do that first, and then we'll tuck the rest in and attach it at the top. Okay, so you've got your black or your adhesive here. Let's come over here again, and we're going to just squish this down to make your life a little easier. Or actually you can squish it up, it doesn't matter. As long as you're working on the the panel that would be popped out. Okay, you're not working on this top one, you're working on this one. We're gonna line this up kind of to the center of it, just enough for that tape or that layer of adhesive to stick along. So you're covering up maybe like 1/2 to 1/4 of an inch on that. There's no exact measurement, but just stick that down nice and straight. Okay, so at this point, this is still loose. That's totally fine. You have 2 panels. This. We're going to squish it down again. So what you should be seeing is 1 and 2 panel, those tire treads. And then this is kind of laying flat at the moment. We'll put our glue under this skinny little guy and tuck it down. And once again, our card will be perfectly square when we pop it up. Okay? You'll need that block handy again because we're going to want to let this dry. So I've popped this little ledge up. I'm making sure I can see 2 sections from this box. Okay. We're tucking this ledge underneath. Go. Squish, squish, squish. And put your blocks on top so it's nice and steady. While that is drying, you're gonna grab your dies and your cut and emboss machine and do a little bit of work here, okay? So the pieces you'll need: 1 black solid bike, 1 basic gray of like engine, carburetor, seat piece. That's going to end up getting layered up right like that. We've got, with the basic gray, 2 pieces for the top of your wheels. And then with your silver foil, you're cutting out 2 wheels and the bike. And I just need to sit here and poke out a couple of these little pieces. Come out very easily, but foil's a little thicker so they don't fall out of my dies sometimes. Very simple. If you need scissors or your take your pick tool, you can use those too. Now to assemble this, combo is going to be your best friend unless you were proactive and did all of this on an adhesive sheet, but I didn't. So here we go. We've got the solid basic gray seat and engine. That's going on first. Sure that sticks. It's got a lot of detail to it. All right, and then we're going to do the large bicycle. So little dots of glue kind of in some of those bigger spots. This one would have probably been ideal for me to turn into a sticker first with our adhesive sheets, but didn't think of it in time. Glue will work as well. So this one I just worked on lining up the handlebars, and then everything else kind of falls into place. So a little tricky to do above me. Here we go. Okay, handlebars will have like a little shadow of black around them. It won't cover that whole spot. And then the other pieces will end up having a little bit of black shadow on them as well. I guess I probably should have done my wheels first, because they do need to tuck under that one spoke. So I'm just going to quickly do that because my glue is still wet. Easily get these tucked under. Just lift that up a little bit. Sorry, we should have done your wheels first. There you go. One wheel, back. It's the nice thing about working with glue is things are pretty easy to move because they haven't dried all the way yet. Okay. Tuck that there. All right, so that is great. Now I've seen a lot of people add different colors here when they were adding these, I'm not entirely sure what they're called. So somebody can comment and tell me what they're called. But these accents, so you can either cut them out of real red or cherry cobbler, and it'll be really nice, pardon me, and bold. Or I decided just to simply match my seat color, or if you don't want another little piece, just leave them silver, okay? But if you want to add them, once again with the glue, one and two. The glue does dry fairly quickly, so by the time you've kind of cleaned up your glue and whatnot, you should be okay to come back to your card and add the bicycle to it. So here we go. We've got our card. Now if I was to play with it, fold it a little, it will pop out like that, perfectly squared off for you, of course. And we're going to add our bike now to the top of this card. So I've put dimensionals on the back of my bike because I want it to kind of pop out. You can either put your bike on nice and straight, or I just thought, hey, let's get a little crazy, do a little wheelie, pop it up like that. Okay. Now, this looks great on its own. You can easily stamp a sentiment on the back. If you own this set, it has a whole plethora of really fun, like, Dad, you're the coolest, classic authentic you, right on it's your birthday. I think that would probably be the best one to add, but they're a little big to add to the front. So I chose You're Legendary, and I just cut myself a little piece of white. It's about a 1/2 inch thick by 3 inches long, and I stamped my sentiment. Now, if you want any of the other sentiments, you can cut either a little decal that can sit down here, or you can go ahead and stamp those on the back. But I'm just gonna do You're Legendary. Real red ink. Could also, I'm sure, put happy birthday or something like this. We have lots of linear happy birthdays that would fit. Just pop this up on dimensionals. Put it kind of across the little buffer between my two pieces here. There you go. So a great masculine card. You could use this for Father's Day. You could use it for birthday. You can use it for retirement. You're riding off to the sunset. But it's just a really, really fun card. And a really, really fun fold. So I hope you guys like this. I hope you are enjoying the videos. Make sure to like and subscribe to my channel so that you get notifications whenever I go live. And tune in next week. There will be lots of fun stuff going on as our new 2023 to 2024 annual catalog is starting next week. And I have my regular Show Me How It's Done. So make sure to check out my Facebook page, Lauren Scraplot, and you'll see maybe a few sneak peeks and some fun details about the new catalog too. And if you're in Canada and you need a catalog or a demonstrator, just shoot me a note. I'm more than happy to help. And you can always reach out with any questions too. So thanks for tuning in. Bye.